Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 5-4 from your textbooks, Converting Rates. This lesson is found on page 200. So we're going to look at converting rates using dimensional analysis and converting between systems of measurement. So what is dimensional analysis? Dimensional analysis is the process of including units of measurements as factors when you compute. For example, you know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. You can write conversion factors. For example, 1 hour is 60 minutes. Okay, 1 hour is over 60 minutes, or 60 minutes over 1 hour. Each ratio is equivalent to 1 because the numerator and the denominator represent the same amount. That's why we include that minutes are hours. And this is 1, really. If we were to change this to minutes, it would become 60. If we change this to hours, it would become 1. So regardless of how we put it as a denominator or a numerator, it's going to be 1. In this lesson, you will be asked to convert miles per hour to miles per minute. This is a common conversion you'll have to make. So here's what you need to do. You need to convert miles per hour to miles per minute. Choose a conversion factor that converts hours to minutes, with minutes in the denominator. Again, we have miles per hour. And we know that the ratio that we're looking for is that an hour has 60 minutes. And we write it as so where we're going to multiply. And remember, when we multiply fractions, we always cross-reference. We cross-reference the multiples. And we know here that we have the like units and like multiples, 1 hour, 1 hour. We can cross those out. So then when I multiply through, I'm multiplying this number times 1, and then 1 times this number. So when my product will be miles over minutes, and then I can divide. And that's going to give me my unit rate of how many miles per minute. Here's a more concrete example where we have 100 miles in 1 hour. Okay? And we want to convert them to hours. So what we're going to take our 100 miles per hour and multiply it by the unit of 1 hour, or the ratio 1 hour to minutes. Okay? We cross-reference. We cross-reference the hours so that they're down to 1, so that we end up with a fraction that looks like 100 miles over 60 minutes. Right here, 100 miles over 60 minutes. And then I'm just going to simply divide so that I can find my unit of 1 minute, my unit rate of 1 minute. And I'm going to get 1.7 miles per 1 minute. So 100 miles per hour is about 1.7 miles per minute. Okay, now let's try this with financial literacy, meaning money. We're going to learn to talk about money. And who doesn't like to talk about that? Financial literacy. The average teenager spends $1,742 per year on fashion-related items. So the new shoes, new belts, a nice new hat, and some people include fashion as like their new cell phone cover and whatnot. How much is this per week? Oh, well, so we have to know how many weeks are in a year. First, I start by writing my ratio of 1,742 per year, per 1 year, right? My fraction. And now I want to convert it, okay, as 1 year is how many weeks? I believe it's 52 weeks, right? 52 weeks. Oh, I did the same mistake again that I did earlier. It's not equal. I'm sorry. It's multiplying. We're multiplying these two so that we can simplify and solve. And now I'm going to cross-reference where 1 year and 1 year cancel each other out. And now I multiply directly through. And I get 1,742 times 1. And 1 times 52. It's going to give me this ratio. So now I have the amount of money divided by the number of weeks. And now I want to know what 1 week is, right? Because how much is it per week? So I'm going to divide 1,742 divided by 52. And when I do that, you can type that into your calculator, or you can do it long division style. I get 33.5. 33.5, we're talking about money. How much money is this? So it's the unit of money, so we have to include the 0 in the hundredth place, and it's $33.50. Therefore, the average teenager spends $33.50 per week on fashion-related items. Okay, let's look at example 2. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. All right. Tyree and 3 friends, so that's 4 of them, right? Tyree and 3 friends attend skydiving class before their first jump. The instructor tells them they will travel at about 176 feet per second. Wow. How many miles per hour is this? So we have 176 feet per second. Our ratio is going to look like this: 176 feet per second. 1 second. So here's what we need to do. We need to convert feet per second to miles per hour. This needs to become miles, and this needs to become hours. Okay, let's try to make sense of this. We already established what 176 feet per second. We did that over here. I drew it on the side. Okay, so we have that. We understand that much. But wait, 176 feet is only a fraction of a mile, because a mile has 5,280 feet, right? So we need to be able to compare this ratio so that we know what fraction we're talking about of a mile. Okay, so that's why we have to put 176 over 1 second, it's our original ratio, times, now we have what we want to convert it to, which is the miles. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Okay, just like we were doing before with time. We were doing 1 hour on the top and 60 minutes on the bottom. And then we have to figure out the time. We want to convert from seconds to hours. But what is hours in seconds? Well, we have 3,600 or 3,600 seconds in an hour. Okay? And this is why now we're multiplying it as well by this ratio. So this is our first original ratio. This is the ratio that we need to convert it to out of miles, and this is the ratio that we need to convert it out of hours. We can just go ahead and multiply all 3 of those ratios, and we're going to simplify it. Okay, we know that we can cross-reference 176 feet and 5,280 feet. We can cross-reference these two, and we know that we have 176 here only 1 time, and over here we have it 30 times. Okay, so our new ratio, our new multiplication of fractions looks like this. After simplifying those two. But then we notice that we can also simplify this way. How many 30s are in 3,600? Well, there's 130 here, and there are 120 there. And you can see that that was done the second time around. Okay, so it was double. This number in the middle was cross-referenced twice. Okay, and you can see that here they cross-reference these seconds with these seconds. Not that it really changes it, because this is a unit. This is already down to 1. And then we just multiply straight through. And I have 1 times 1 times 120 is 120. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1 hour. So we have 120 miles per hour. Therefore, 176 feet per second is equivalent to 120 miles per hour. The TGV is a high-speed rail train in France. It's like the bullet train. At top speed, it runs at an average of 320 kilometers per hour. Wow, that's really fast. A really fast car can drive around 120, 140 kilometers an hour. This can do almost triple that. 320 kilometers per hour. How many meters per second is that? So we're looking at converting it to meters and also to seconds. So we're going to need 3 ratios one more time. Our first ratio has been given to us. 320, let me use white, it looks better. 320 kilometers per 1 hour. And then we want to convert those kilometers to meters, right? And we know that 1 kilometer has 1,000 meters. Okay? And that's 1 kilometer, right? 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. And then we also want to convert it later on to seconds. And we know that 1 hour has 3,600 seconds. Okay? So that it should look something like this, your equation. I'm including the units so that you can see where I'm getting these numbers from. Right? But we want to convert it to meters and then to seconds, because that's what they're asking us, how many meters per seconds. You see that there? Now we can go ahead and just multiply straight across, but first we can also cross-reference to make our lives easier. We could cross-reference these two, okay, over here. And I know that when I look at 32, for example, I know it's 320, but I just look at 32 first, and I look at 36 here. I know they're both multiples of 4, but really I'm going to use 40. So I know that if I divide 320 divided by 40, I get 8, and 3600 divided by 40, I get 90, right? I get 90. So now I can go ahead and just multiply straight through. So 8 times 1000 times 1. Now remember, that 1 hour gets canceled out because we can cross-reference those hours. So it's just times 1. So my top number is going to be 8,000, okay? And my bottom number is going to be 1 times 1 times 1 is, well, these kilometers cancel each other out as well. So now I have times divided by 90, okay? And what is, this is 90 seconds, by the way, okay? And the top is 8,000 meters. Okay, and when I divide those two, I'm going to get 88, because if I count by 90s, I ask myself how many 9s are in 80, really is what I asked myself. Okay, I know there's 8 of them, but then you can also just divide, boys and girls, in your calculator. You can do the long division, 80 divided by 90. You're going to get 88, and then you'll notice that you're going to get an 8 left over, okay, or 80 out of 90 you're going to have left over, but you take away those zeros, and it's 88 in 8/9 miles per second. 2b, an adult cheetah can reach a speed of about 70 miles per hour. That's incredibly fast. That's faster than a car, boys and girls. I mean, a car on the highway. How fast is this in feet per second? Okay, here's my first ratio, 70 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour. The first thing I want to do is find out what miles is in feet and what hour is in seconds. So let's do our first ratio. We know that 5,280 feet is 1 mile, so that's how we're going to convert to miles. There it is. And then now we want to do the hours to seconds on the bottom. Remember, we stay to the bottom. The conversion for hours will be down here, and the conversion for meter will be on the top. I mean miles, not meters. And there we go. Okay, so then 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. Now we're ready to start doing some cross-referencing and so on. Yeah, like I know, for example, that hour here will cancel out this hour. These miles will cancel out these miles. I can simplify this one to 35, and by cutting it by half, and this one to 1,800. Then I can divide this by 5, and I get 7. And if I divide this one by 5, I get 360. Okay, so it makes my numbers a little bit smaller. I also know that now that when I look at divisibility rules for 4, I know that I have to look at the last two numbers, and 80 is divisible by 4, so this entire number is divisible by 4. And I know that this number is also divisible by 4 because it's 36, you know. I ignore the 0 and I see that it's 36, but also 60 is divisible by 4. You get 15. So I can divide all of this by 4, or because there's such a large number, I can do it by 40. So when I divide this number by 40 and this number by 40, I get 132 on the top and 9 on the bottom. So I can now go ahead and multiply straight across. So I'm going to multiply 7 times 132 equals 924, and 1 times 1 times 9 over 9. Okay, now we can just simply divide 924 divided by 9 so that we get our number. Or we can ask yourself, how many 9s do we have in 924? We have 102 of them, and 2/3. And that's feet per second. On page 201, you'll find a measurement conversion where we can convert from customary, okay, U.S. customary to metric, and then from metric to customary. This will come in handy, and we'll probably need it for the test. So that's on page 201.